Hello and welcome, Brunswick Community College. This is Sociology 210. My name is Dr. Teresa Cox. I'm making, I hope, a quick video about this mini research proposal. Please don't overthink it. This is not an entire research study. It's almost like you're creating a question. That's all. You don't even have to you don't have to have the answers. That's a good thing. Speaking of Brunswick, closing today at 5 p.m., reopening tomorrow at 11. Any classes that are scheduled to be held or any events scheduled to be held in the morning will be held at 11. That's called a delayed start. Okay, let's get back to this project. Sorry if I look like I've been working outside. I have been. And I'm headed back that way. Go through your textbook, which I hope everybody finally has access to. Some of that was the fault of the publisher. Didn't realize that I worked for other community colleges and could not find my account. Part of that was that there were some emails sent to instructors for this course, and they were sent to the wrong instructor. So there you go. Everybody's to blame. But hopefully now we finally got the sociology textbook, which is the Benocratis book. Go through your text, look at your chapters. You can even scroll down at the end of each chapter. You can see some discussion questions. You may be able to pick out a research proposal from that. So you're going to think of a problem or come up with a question. Anything. Pick the chapter. Social interaction is a good chapter. How does social interaction change over the course of a lifetime? Then you'll say problem statement is, I'm worried that I will outgrow my friends or they'll outgrow me, and they'll have a negative impact on the way I feel about forming relationships. So that carries on into your research question. How would you evaluate that? How would you look at that? What aspects of interpersonal relationships do you expect to hold with you throughout life? That's a good question. Literature review, you want to use peer-reviewed, reliable sources, not a Google search. If you do a Google search, you want to type in interpersonal relationships over the course of a lifetime, .edu. That guarantees that the research sources, literature sources that they're going to spit out at you have been turned in as legitimate research papers or sometimes articles within a peer-reviewed journal or other work that's been done maybe towards someone's degree. Okay, simple as that. Please don't use AI for this. All right, literature review. Like I said, you're going to use that .edu with your question. Methodology. See, you can get this done in 30 minutes. You're just basically backing out anything that I typed, put in your own material. If you're really worried about it, upload it to the assignment link and I'll look at it and let you know, or email it to me. And I'll be glad to look at it as though I'm looking at a draft. This is not a hard assignment. It's just something new. And we all get a little worried when we do new things. Methodology, research, design. Well, it's pretty simple. There's not going to be but one or two. Is it going to be qualitative approach where you use numbers? Sorry, that's quantitative. I was reading and saying stuff at the same time. Quantitative is when you have to collect data, actual numbers, and then put them into some statistical software to analyze. Qualitative is when you do interviews. That's always more fun, but it's sometimes a little... doing qualitative research is sometimes a little bit subjective because sometimes if you're doing one-to-one field research, whoever you're doing that research on tries to please you by giving you the right answers. So you want to talk about it. How would you collect data for your research about sociological relationships or social interaction throughout the course of high school? How would you do that? Well, the best way to do it would be to do a survey and have it so that it was somewhat closed-ended. They could give you numbers. Like, for example, when I started in the 9th grade, I had 12 friends that I had had since kindergarten. And now that I am a senior at Brunswick, I have blank number of friends. And you could say I'm doing quantitative approach with a survey or a qualitative approach with interviews. Okay, so the sample population for that, I'm going right down the list here, would be college students at Brunswick Community College. So the data collection, you might create a questionnaire. You don't have to do it. You don't have to create the questionnaire. Just put something in that box that says, I will create a questionnaire. I will create a survey. I will ask some of my friends to go out and do field research. Go out and talk to people on campus and ask them how many friends they have now that are the same friends they had in kindergarten. See how easy that is. Data analysis, well, that's easy. If you're using quantitative data, then you're going to have to find some analytical software. You don't have to find what it is. Just put in that number 5, data analysis. Tell me how you're going to analyze it. Just use that answer I've already gotten there. If you have decided to do field research, then it's a little bit different. You'll have to weigh it out by going through each answer. I know my dissertation was field research, but thank goodness I found a survey that targeted the population, got the answers, and made it a quantitative analysis of a qualitative research design. Thank goodness for me. So in that conclusion, you don't know what the conclusion is because you haven't done the research. You're just designing this research proposal. It may be all wrong when you start doing it. Mine was. Well, not all wrong, but I had some things that needed to be adjusted. So your conclusion, I'm going to summarize the significance of maintaining social interactions with the same people because it gives me a chance of having continuity in somewhat stressful times, which college can be. And again, number 8, your references. So when you put citation in this, you don't have to quote Benocrates because I assume you'll use something from Benocrates' text. List relevant academic sources. Now you know how to get them. Make sure when you go over, let me look over here. I may be able to look and see, does Google still have more? Back in the dark ages, Google Chrome had a more so that you could go to Google Chrome or Google, whichever one you use, and type in scholarly sources and then put in your question. So if I was doing this research, I would do it on Chapter 7. I would do it on deviance and crime. I would put in something in the search bar that looked like this. How many times has social deviant, and I think in my case I'd put deviant, like the person who's being deviant. I would put into a Google Chrome or Google search, how many times do deviants become criminals? Scholarly. Put in that word, scholarly research, and see what you come up with. Fill in the blanks. It shouldn't take you but a half an hour. I know it's scary. Speaking of scary, anyway, I've got to go back to work outside. You can text me, 336-509-9918. Tell me which course you're in, because I have 2, when I'm 16, when I'm 8 here at Brunswick. Tell me, whatever you need to know about this. Don't make it hard. I've done the work for you. You just fill in the blanks. It's almost like a questionnaire. All you have to do is come up with your question by looking at the chapters in Bene Creatus. You can get it right out of chapter 2, quite frankly. Okay. Now then, coxt@brunswickcc.edu. If you still feel uncomfortable about this, just reach out to me and send me what you think you want to have a question about, and I'll help you write it. Okay? Can't get any better than that. It's the first week. For a lot of us, it's the first time we've ever attempted a project like this. Let's don't make it hard. I promise. Every single one of you. If you turn it in, I guarantee you will have a great grade that you'll be proud of. Okay, reach out to me. Have a good weekend, albeit messy maybe tomorrow. Welcome to Brunswick.